Hi guys, this is Tom from Spektrum RC. This video is going to be an overview of how to change the steering wheel to the smaller wheel using these blocks or wedges to change the angle of attack on the steering wheel. We're going to do a bit about swapping it over to the other side as well as moving this to the other side as well. So to get started, what we have here are three tools: a 2mm, a #1 Phillips, and a 0.05 inch hex. This is a 2mm hex. We're going to pull the steering wheel off first because I'm going to switch it to the smaller one. This guy has a little tiny rubber plug here. Not the end of the world if you lose it, like I almost just did, but it's there. Take our #0 Phillips. Take that wheel off. Okay, so save this screw. Wheel, smaller wheel. Smaller wheel uses a different size cam that we have labeled here. It's called out in the manual, but it's there. If you look real closely at the cams, you can tell that they're a tad bit different. This one allows for a little bit more space in the turning. So we'll keep that on the side here. Alright, so if we were to change the blocks, we would have to remove these two screws, and if we want to move it to the other side, we got to remove these three screws and these two. So let's remove these two with our 2mm hex. There we go. Opens up like that. See, there's a lot of space in there. That's where the steering wheel is going to plug into. And we got all these holes here on the parameter here for changing the angle. So one cool thing about this is it does have the drop down, this drop down installed already. But if you don't like that, I'll show you how to change that. I personally don't. I'm used to not using that, so I'm going to change it to a left hand. And I'm going to raise the steering wheel back up. So we got longer screws for this guy, right? So these are two long screws you want to keep a hold of. So this should go without saying, but make sure that your radio's turned off when you start pulling it apart like this. Alright, we're going to set these screws to the side. Looks like they're the same size as these two little guys, so we'll group them together. Alright. And if you look in there, you see where our steering assembly plugs into. One is a 5-pin connector, the other is a 6-pin connector. Gently, one is a 7-pin connector, one is a 6-pin connector. Gently grab a hold of it as close as you can to the board in there, and don't just tug on it, but gently pull it, and as you're pulling on it, wiggle it back and forth, right? So you kind of shimmy it out. And just like that, okay? So we can see straight through. Turn it around. We're going to go to the other side. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and switch this knob over to the other side as well. So that's where this little 0.05 guy comes in. Little screw right here. There she goes. Alright, you'll see that this has looks like a 5-pin. Yeah, 5-pin coming off of here. Again, it's outlined in the manual as 5-pin there. The headphone jack uses the 4-pin. So if you look inside of there, there is a 4 and a 5-pin jack. One is not being occupied at this time, right? So once again, real gently, trying to get her unplugged. There she is. 5-pin jack for the knob. The knob there. Headphone jack. see if I can, oh, that's a good idea. Put your finger on the inside and pop her out. So, just like the other one, it's got those two jacks on there, 5-pin and 4-pin. Hopefully you can see it. Just like that one. It's hard to get your fingers in there, but just gently pull on it. If it feels like it's not given, you know you're doing something wrong. So it'll come. Just like I said, wiggle back and forth and it'll come. Don't just pull straight. You gotta pull it out of its keyway, because these connectors, much like all these other Molexes and JSTs, is that they are keyed. They stick into there pretty well. So, headphone jack. Let's go ahead and install our knob on the other side. So, if you look at these, it's got these wires sticking out here, and it's got kind of a tooth latch there. Just gotta make sure that you get it in. What I found that works well is go ahead and plug it in, and then we wedge it in this way and pop it in. So I'll kind of show you that. So once again, 5-pin. Before we get it in there, when you're plugging these in, you try to get it straight in and push down on the connector itself using your fingernail or a small tool, something with a blunt end like a hex, to push it in like that. It's plugged in. See? If you can see that, got it in there. Now, when we get the wires in there, got this hole here, or this where the screw goes into. We want to push it in, push the wires in first, right? So you're not jamming it, getting it pinched there, and then this latch here, just kind of push it in and get her in there. So flush. So when you get this in there, it's going to be upside down. Really, just have to live with it. I don't think it's going to be a problem because it's on a mirror side, so it's upside down. Good to go. And then the other side, just like the 5-pin, we're going to plug the 4-pin headphone jack in. So just like the other one. There we go. Get our itty bitty little countersunk screw in. He's in. So, no steering wheel yet. We'll put this plate on the right side, since we're changing it to left hand. Now, so we got this steering assembly disassembled. Got these two jacks here, two plugs. Just kind of fish them out of that hole. Set her off to the side. So at this point, we want to decide, do we want to use any of the wedges? We could try. They can make it a bunch of different angles. You can have it angled up, down, forward, back, you know, whatever works for you. So when we get it in there, that's the antenna connector. We want to be careful of that. And so I am going to go with, let's see. Looks like that's the bigger one. Let's go with the smaller one and tilt it down. This one's a little easier to get to. Remember to push in on the connector, not the wire. And if it doesn't feel like it's going in, make sure you got the keyways going the right way. Get it in there, we're ready to go. Push on all sides. Alright, she's in. Alright, so I think that's going to be good. So, to get this guy mounted down, we're going to use these screws. Mount it down, and then the longer screws are going to mount to the outside hole. Now when we're pushing this in, it's essentially, you know, making its own threads. So that's why you kind of got to really push on it to get it through there. Alright, I think that's good. No play. Alright. So, at this point, we want to make sure we've got, essentially you'll see that each of the trims is labeled A, B, C, D, E. You could have those, you know, just straight like they were on the other side, or you could reposition them. It's all orbital. I'm gonna put some elbow grease behind this one. So, how we feel here? Yeah, it looks good. All right, and then I'm gonna go to the smaller wheel, which needs the smaller cam. Cam goes inward like that. Okay, see how it turns there? And then put our wheel on it. It's got a little plus shape indenture for these to rest on. There it is, just like that. And then there's a little screw here, goes down the center. Grab our Phillips. Little rubber plug goes in there. All right, left-handed. Lost the drop, but like I said, you can keep the drop on there. It's all up to you. But now it's good for me, for my lefty, and that's about it for that. So let's turn around, make sure that everything works. Yeah, and an update. Isn't that nice? It just updates right for you. Cool beans. Alright, so let's go to the monitor. See if everything's working. Yep, steering's working, it's good. They're all still working. Alright.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
Oh, I guess I got 4 minutes left. Alright, well that's it. I just changed my steering wheel to the left-hand side and lost the drop down. Really, it's a little bit of work, but it's not too bad. So hopefully that helps you out if you had to do that as well. Thanks and have a great day.